The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, happy Wednesday. I am Tasha Champion, your host of She is Shenomenal, and I'm so excited to be here today with you all. We are doing things just a little bit different because after you groove and jam to my opening theme song, we're going to have the guest speakers from the second annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch here live on the show. So get ready, join us, let's have some fun. We'll be right back. All right. I am so happy to have everyone here today. So hello to Brisa, hello to the Pages, hello to Mika Morris, and hello to Miss Regina. How are you guys doing?
Great. Wonderful.
Yes. All right. So we're going to dive right in because everybody's here. For those that did not attend the second annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch, these are my guest speakers, and they were fire on July 9th. It was absolutely amazing. Sometimes I forget that it was my event. Like, I was just really on fire. I was completely tuned in to every word, hanging on the edge of my seat as these incredible people just brought an amazing brunch and workshop with a lot of information. So I'm going to have you guys just quickly introduce yourselves for a moment, starting with Brisa. Tell us just a little bit about you, and then we'll move on to the Pages.
So hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Tasha. I am a stroke survivor. I survived a less than 1% chance. And since then, I learned to share my message, and I turned my mess into a message. And that's what I do. I share my story all over the world. I've been on different platforms, on TV and newspapers, and interviewed and podcasts all over the place. And now I'm here today sharing my story with you guys.
Beautiful. Pages.
Hi, I'm Lyric Page, and I just wrote a little poem, and she wanted me to read it at her brunch.
Yes.
I am Bianca Page, and this is my husband, Kenneth Page. We're co-founders of the Core View, the community of restoration and enlightenment. And we are just here to help supplement each soul and spiritual being on this human journey and helping to navigate and grow together, iron sharpening iron. Would you add something, babe?
I would just say we love to try to encourage people to live from on the top of their story, not from the inside. So that's what it's all about, operating from on top of your story.
Beautiful. Miss Regina.
Oh, good evening to everybody. Just want to let you know, actually, I was not a guest speaker. but I was happy to serve as the Mistress of Ceremony. I am the founder of the DVL project. I live in the high desert and been very involved in my community for over 20 some odd years. And I'm just excited to be here with this great group of folks this evening. And I am letting Kenneth and Bianca know I am now part of your family, like it or not. That's just how it happened.
Oh, I love that. Miss Mika Morris.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Tamika. I go by Mika. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. An amazing just woman of life. Like, I like to share my story, my testimony with women, especially girls. So that's kind of where I'm heading with my life and my path.
Beautiful. I love it. And a powerhouse you are. So since you're already speaking, we're going to start with you. Because you, Bianca, and Regina, all of you guys are co-authors of the best-selling book, Shenomenal Women, and you were a part of the brunch last year. So Mika, starting with you, tell me what you felt was a big difference for you from last year to this year's brunch.
Well, besides being the speaker, because last year it was kind of a celebration of the Shenomenal co-authors, of all of us coming together, specifically because of COVID, I believe. So it's great to just be in a room with all these dynamic women with these amazing stories. This year, it was, more speaker driven, I'm not saying that we weren't inspired last year, but I was totally inspired by each person that got up and shared, story. But the difference last year was when we did our breakout group. That was just an amazing experience. So, I guess each year will, add and take away and just bring whatever God has for the environment.
Yes, beautiful. So, Miss Regina, what about you? What do you feel was a big difference from last year to this year?
Well, I kind of mirror some of the things that Mika said. And then for me, I think last year, I personally came kind of not knowing what to expect because this was a whole new experience to come as part of this collective of just amazing women that had created this amazing book, right? And so that was just, the uncertainty of what to expect and having the opportunity to meet all these women. Consequently, over the past year, have met with, worked with, and kind of gotten to know some of the co-authors. And so going into this year, of course, it was different and my perspective was different, serving as the Mistress of Ceremony, because I was a little concerned, am I going to be so focused on making sure that I do introductions right? Because I didn't want to fail anybody, but I also didn't want to miss anything, right? And so this year I had that, but what happened was the atmosphere in the room just really took over, right? And I don't think there was anybody that walked out of there that didn't gain something. And kind of the theme of what was happening was intention. And what was your intention for being there? What did you want to take away? And I can't imagine that there was anybody in that room that didn't find something magnificent to take away from this year. Oh, wait, did I shut it down?
Yes, in our book you did.
I think her mic is muted. There she goes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, now.
Okay, perfect. Technical difficulties on the live, but we're just gonna keep the love going as we work through it. No problem. So, Miss Regina, I was saying that although yes, you were the queen of ceremonies, because I dare not call you MC or anything like that. You are a queen, but you drop so many nuggets. It's like we're definitely part of the guest speakers crew, because each time you got to the microphone, you just dropped some good Shenomenal nuggets, and we definitely appreciated you and appreciated the way that you introduced everyone. So
well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Miss Bianca, what was your difference Absolutely. Bianca, what was your difference?
Well, my takeaway and what really, what came to spirit was it was a whole vibe. It was a whole mood. I feel like I'm part of a community. To be a Shenomenal co-author was an honor in and of itself, and to kind of come back together with my sister authors was amazing. You kind of leading the charge, Queen of Ceremony, setting the tone, seeing baby girl be around all this Shenomenal and Henomenal energy. The men brought a different vibe. So men, mates, partners, brothers, you are not left out. That was amazing to kind of come together, female and male energy, celebration of women. And then each of the great spirits that I have the honor to be on this show and platform then with today, you all just poured into the audience. And like Mika said, last year, and Regina said it too, last year was a vibe, and it kind of like you didn't know what to expect. And this year even exceeded. Like I have no expectations of spirit, just like I know I'm going to get something. It's almost like that feeling you get before your birthday or a holiday where you know you're about to get something. It was that same thing. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'm get blessed. So yeah. And I know Lyric, we all debriefed. Oh,
beautiful. I love it. Okay, so that's everyone from last year. So let's start with, I think there's a little bit of a delay. We're going to work right on through it. So starting with Lyric, you feel being the youngest speaker to stand at the podium?
How do I feel being the youngest speaker?
Yeah, what did you feel?
I felt a little nervous. It was the first brunch I had ever gone to, and I was really excited to do it. And I was like a little nervous.
So cute.
Thank you.
Tell them what you learned.
What did you learn? What did you tell us you took away from it?
Speak loud.
What I took away was Miss Lisa's thing about pinky moves. I like pinky moves.
All right. Anything else?
What are you wearing? Did you remember someone talking about a butterfly?
I remember someone
cousin Tasha.
talking about butterflies. It was cousin Tasha.
For me, I didn't go last year. I think that's what we're but I do remember my wife coming home and my mother-in-law, all of them just ranting and raving about the entire event and how it was just so awesome. And I always get a little jealous because I feel like the women always have that platform for each other, that you've always have had that. I come from a Shenomenal mother, and the women of the church would meet on every first Monday, and they would talk and just pour into one another. And one day, finally, the men said, you know what, we need to do this too, because we need to have each other's back. So that's kind of what I represented there. And I walked away, and I don't believe that, only I can only be taught or empowered by men. I absolutely can be empowered by women. I can be empowered by children. I can be empowered by anyone, as long as I open up and just listen. And I walked away. Any event like that I go to, that we're asked to speak, you ask God to be the best version of yourself that you can go and be a blessing. But also, I want to walk away receiving a blessing too. And I walked away from that I was thinking about it, just laying up at night, just thinking about just the conversations, what Brisa was talking about with the pinky moves, what Mika was talking about with just us being a professional and lost, and just everything that people were sharing. Tasha, she hit on my butterfly. I talk about the butterfly all the time. So yeah, just everything that was there. And then the vendors were just amazing. And some of the things that we purchased something for my daughter. And so it's one of those things that I can talk about it all day long. You just had to be there. You just had to be there.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like everything just really flowed together. It was all I can say is the vision of what God gave me manifested on that day. So let's go to you, Brisa. For those that don't know, Brisa and I have a mutual friend. I used to work with her best friend who told me about Brisa's story. And she kept saying, Tasha, one day you have to meet her. You have to meet her. Her story is incredible. So when I thought about the theme of this year's brunch and what we were bringing to the table, what better way than to speak with you and have you share your story about overcoming a less than 1% chance at survival. So what was your experience like at the Shenomenal Women's Brunch?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, it was amazing. And to go off of like what Kent was saying, I didn't go last year, so I didn't have anything to compare it with. So I was kind of, well, like Bianca was saying, I was like, well, I'll go and we'll see what happens. I know it's going to be good. Just with the lineup, I did a little bit of research on who was going to be there and I was impressed. So when I went there and I was meeting everybody was so open and ready to receive. And you can tell I was overwhelmed by that feeling. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I'm thinking, I don't know, I hope my story lands right. I hope everybody, is patient with me because I do have a bit of a brain injury, a little bit of a delay. And I've never met anybody here and nobody really knows my story. So I came in and I was just overwhelmed by the type of people that were there and ready. Like they couldn't wait to, like they were hungry. They were sitting at the dinner table and they were hungry and they knew they were about to eat real good.
Yes, you know what? I actually had someone tell me just I think last night. She said it was soul food and she had been starving, and this really, really fed her. So that's like something so good to hear. Now, going to you, Mika, you share a very personal story. You shared it in the Shenomenal Women book. And now you use that to support other women, and not just women, but people in general, about loss. What was it like for you sharing such an intimate part of you, but being able to use that to support other women, other people through their own loss?
So you and I had a few conversations about my topic. And literally, I had been traveling and doing so much stuff that the week of the event, I still had no speech. I had nothing to talk about, nothing to say. And then I just started to pray, though, probably 4 or 5 days before it got to like Wednesday of the event. And then that day, I was kind of exhausted from going here and there. I took a shower, got into bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. 11 o'clock, I woke back up. Literally, I just started to type and the speech came out in 5 minutes. So I'm just walking in my purpose right now. This has been a season of loss for so many people for so many different reasons. COVID, Black men and Black people, period, just losing their lives for no reason at all. Like nobody understands loss, but we all have to experience it. And I just wanted to speak to that. I wanted to speak to how we have to rethink what loss is. None of us are getting out of here alive. So I wanted to pour and just give the message. And so many people look at me and say, you don't look like what you've been through. None of us do.
Right.
But loss is loss. Loss could be loss of a marriage, loss of a job, loss of a home, loss of security, whatever, loss of yourself. So I'm just thankful that God, worked and did. He always does, and I hope that everyone left a little more inspired and hopeful and knowing that spirit never dies. We all
Right.
get to coexist, you know, in so many dimensions. And, you know, let's just try to live this life that we have right now, to the best of our abilities. Brisa, her story touched me so. It was just, the lineup was just perfect, Tasha. So God
Yeah.
used you to get us all together in the same space
Yes.
again, like He used the book the same way. If you
Mhm.
haven't purchased the book, purchase the book. That's where you start. And then just continue on this phenomenal women's journey, you know. And it's not just for women, because the men showed up and showed
They
Yeah.
out.
showed up. Yes,
It
let's
was
give it
just,
up
it
for
was a
them.
blessing to see so many of them support us, but not only support us, Kenneth was there in spirit. And then your I can't think of his name, Dante.
Okay.
When he got up, what he said, it just, you know, it's
Yes.
just so great to see the men show up and pour into us women too, because we need that.
We do. We do. Now, Kenneth, being you are the first phenomenal man to take the stage and grace us with just such a powerful message, what did that mean for you? How did you feel being up there? I know this is kind of like what you do, which is why I wanted the world of phenomenal women to be introduced to you. But tell us how you felt. What did it feel like being a man on that stage?
First and foremost, just honored. You know, I was just honored to be able to be there and to share. I've been through something in life that most people, haven't been through. So I feel almost obligated every morning, you know, that it's my intentional that when God calls, why wouldn't I answer? You know, so He's done so much for me. So why wouldn't I talk about His goodness and where I've gone? But you know, I don't like to sugarcoat it. You know, I like to keep it real, as they say, as the young folks say, keep it 1,000. You know, I like to really keep it real and let you know that every day is not going to be peaches and sundaes and ice cream, or I don't know, watermelon and barbecue, whatever it is that you like. Every day is not going to be that.
Right.
How do we respond then when adversity hits? How do we respond? And when I lost my parents, man, I learned so much about me. I did so much that you would never know until, as Mika said, you lose whatever it is you lose, you know. So I found myself again in that. Certain people that I had labeled friends, I realized that I had mislabeled them. So I had to kind of let them go. There was some family blood. I had to kind of just let them go to the side, you know. And
Right.
there were some family that held me and held me tight and held me close. And will always be grateful for them and just the people around me. So yeah, I just feel obligated that I need to tell this story and to keep going. And I'm trying to just encourage more men, because more men, I'm not the only man. There are so many of us that have gone through so many things: abuse,
Right.
loss of self. You know, I can go on and on. So, I think we need to talk about it because it's healthy. It will then also hopefully encourage our sons not to go through the same trauma and the same experiences. Because that right there is always baffling to me, how 2 or 3 generations of men or women can go through the same
The same
abuse
cycle.
because nobody's talking about it. You know what I mean? Nobody's
Right.
Right.
family secret. We don't want to, you know, besmirch the family name. So we don't want to. So I want to. I heard Kurt Franklin say this, and I thought it was so powerful. He said, "We gave our children scriptures, but we forgot to show them our scars." And man,
Right.
that's so deep. And that's with my son and with other young men. I'm just trying to show them my scars. We're gonna get some scripture too, but we're gonna really talk real and what's going on in 2022, because what he did for David and Paul was excellent, but what he's doing for me is awesome, man. So I want to talk
Right.
about it.
I love that you said that, because really everyone that shared was showing a part of their scars. And
Yes.
they were using that as their platform to say, like, hey, it's okay. You have these scars. Like Brisa talked about fighting her way back when the doctors were telling her parents, hey, you need to, say your goodbyes. And she's like, no, but I'm still in here.
Wow.
And we really did show through transparency, which is beautiful. So I love that you said that. Regina, I want to shoot over to you, because you're very big in the high desert community. I call her the high desert queen. Everybody knows her. Everybody knows if Regina speaks, you better listen because she's so full of love, of energy. She's full of community. So speaking of community, how did we build a community inside of that brunch the same way you see in your everyday community?
Yeah. Well, Tasha, thank you first of all for all those generous accolades. But I guess I'm learning how to accept those type of things graciously. So thank you. Um, but as far as community, what I felt was, we had talked about Shenomenal being a movement, right? It's an experience and it's a movement. And what I felt was that everybody in that room left on that Saturday afternoon connected. Now, how we do that and where we intersect and when and all of that, don't know. But I really feel like what happened in that room made an everlasting connection. And
Right.
that we took that forward into what we do in our respective circles and spheres of influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's broadening the community because what was in that room was just the number of people who was in that room. But the lives that will be impacted and touched broke outside of that. And it is infinite. We don't know, right? Where that message is going to be carried and how far and to how many, right? But that's what I felt was that we built this community so everybody in that room, whether they exchange cards, numbers, whatever, there is a connection, and we will be utilizing those connections from this point out, right?
Right.
And then also expanding community just beyond that room, because that's what it was for me, and that was my sense of community. I gotta say that I'm always proud when I see people from the high desert, right? Because the high desert has this reputation sometimes of, well, who's there, and they country bumpkins and they, are this, that, and a third, right? But the truth is, some of God's greatest creations and treasures are here in the high desert. And so we got a chance to kind of put that on a showcase, right?
Yes.
But not in a way to where it was for show, right? But it was for substance,
Beautifully
right?
said.
Yeah. And
Beautifully
so
said.
that for me also emboldened my sense of my immediate community, right? Knowing that I've got the Brisas and the Tashas of the world that are here, right? And doing that outreach. So for me, yeah, that's how I see the community, but I saw it as just bursting through those walls, and that everybody there, I don't know who all is connected to who, but just that reach, that span is
Right.
so expansive, right?
And right. Whoever was connected through whoever, we were all connected on Saturday. We were all connected together. So talking about that reach, Brisa, can you share a little bit about maybe your drive home? What was that conversation like? How did you share the feeling of the brunch once you left?
Well, I left and it's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Just when I was there, like I said before, I was feeling like I'm about to fill up with some amazing phenomenal information, and I did. You guys really filled up my cup, and while I was driving home, I was very full with all this information, and I just wanted to like touch everyone. I wanted to tell everybody what I learned and what how it's impacted me. And I know, like Regina was saying, it's going to impact other people. And some of the messages that were going around the room, I mean, the level of connection, because everyone, and that's not fair. I mean, I've spoke on a lot of platforms, and the level of connection that you had, Tasha, was amazing.
Yeah.
Like the whole room, they're just focused. And like when Mika was talking, when Kenneth was singing, I mean, everybody was just focused. And I believe that's something that not only me was experiencing on my way home, I was like reliving it. It was like I was replaying the movie. Like when you watch a really good movie, you got to because it was that good. That's how I felt. Like I had to replay it. So,
oh my gosh.
While I was on my way home, luckily I wasn't driving. My girls were driving with me, and I was sitting in the back seat, and I'm like, I'm just gonna put my earphones on because I wanted to marinate in it a while.
Oh, beautiful.
Just what I just got, and I wanted to kind of just think about all of those things and how I'm gonna apply them in my life.
Yes, absolutely.
I really appreciate the fact that you shared that with all of us, and all of you were a part of it. And like I said, I had no idea what I was coming into, but I just had a feeling it was going to be good. And yes, it was.
I love that. Thank you. So we're going to pause just for a second. I know that everybody's filling up right now, but we need to take a quick commercial break. So we will be right back with the beautiful cast of the second annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch. Stay tuned. Okay, perfect. So we are back. Welcome back. Thanks for staying right here with us. We had our technical difficulties in the beginning, but here's the thing. When it is meant to be, when information is meant to be given, nothing can stop it. And with all of our magnetism, we are right here, and the technical difficulties did absolutely nothing for what you get today. And I love it. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. So Kit and Bianca, you guys were, I say keynote, but you guys are just phenomenal closers, where you just bring everything together, and then you did it together. What is it like standing side by side together, but as one, and then delivering such a powerful message and playing off of each other? What is that like for both of you?
You to go first.
It's sometimes I think I have to kind of pinch myself, because I know what I was called to do, and so many things. And so then when you find your partner, that comes in, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, you're serious. You can really do this. All right, let's go. And and we just kind of push each other, so it's always a good feeling. And she often says that, information is good. We go to church, we go to brunches, we go to all these things, and we get so much information. But the information is no good if it doesn't bring about some form of transformation.
Yes.
So that's really what we really try to get into. And it was funny because leading up to it, I study when I do these things on my own a lot. I study a whole lot, and I'm like always prepared to speak anywhere, no matter what's going on, because I study so much. That's just part of me and who I am. So as we were leading up to it, I really wasn't studying in her eyesight, so the way she does it. So then she was like, okay, wait a minute. We're not going to be able to do this because you're not studying, and we need to be together. We need to be home. So we're laughing. So then I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. Tomorrow morning I'll see you and we'll go over it again. And so she like, yeah. So she like side-eyed me a little bit. But then we went over and she was like, oh, you weren't lying. You really did. You really did have it together. I said, don't worry about me. I'm going to have this. I got your back. Don't.
Yes. Yeah,
So.
that's a true story. And going back even further, he sent me his notes and I just started rejoicing in my spirit. I said, oh, okay, you just going to ride on me like that. He came through with his plan. I said, okay, Ken is ready to go, really. We have been in the season, and Tasha, I just want to pause and honor you, because you, as a Shenomenal coach, what I always tell you, when people say you can't say no to Tasha, that's really her pushing you back into your gift. By the ask is actually a spirit-driven ask, and it's pushing you into your gift and inviting you into, the next level with her. So I just want to honor you for that. And I say that because we have been in a season, Ken and I, of transition, of support, of caretaking. There's been a lot pulling on us. So by you calling us into action and into duty, like a coach puts you into the game before you think you're ready. Because I didn't think, I was like, wait a minute, we're still in transition, living, you know our story better than most. So I just thank you for that. It actually uplifted us, recentered us, and made us feel like, okay, it may not look like we think it should look right now in the way we think it should look in us operating in our gifts, but we're right on time. We haven't missed a beat, and it really kind of refocused us to our purpose in the midst of everything that's going on in our natural life. And I'm honored to be a part of this family. And yes, Miss Regina, we are all family. And you can't get rid of me, none of y'all.
Right? So let's dive a little bit deeper into our gifts, because all of us truly are operating and living in our gifts. So Mika, starting with you, what was that awakening for you that was like, you know what? This is my purpose. This is what I get to give to the world. This is what I'm going to push for. I want women to feel like this. Like, what was it in your life that awakened that spirit in you?
I'm the go-to girl in my group. So everybody has their go-to person. So I can just connect to anybody on any level at any, that's who I am. So I know that I just know that I've been gifted with that thing. I'm the girl that if I don't want to talk to nobody, somebody's going to literally come to me and I'm going to just hear their whole story. And then I'm going to start just saying, oh, it's going to be okay. Let me share what's going on in my life. So, yeah, God has always just chosen me to be that person, and I don't shy away from it. I never have. I'm very transparent. I'm very open. When we met, it was just like love at first sight.
It was. It really was.
And literally with all the co-authors, it's the same feeling. It's nothing that I've never been a person to judge anybody wherever they're at in their life. So I think people feel like, well, she's a safe space. And because of that, I don't take it for granted. I always try to, impart or instill something that they can go home and think about. And if they can look at me and say, wow, she's so positive, she's so this, she has it going on. No, it wasn't always like this. And I'm very transparent about what it used to look like, So I think, like I said in my speech, all of our stories aren't really about our stories. It's really about the person that we may meet along the path of what they're
Right.
going through, you know? So
Yes.
that's when I knew.
Beautiful. And yes, you do. You are always like dropping nuggets. Sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, it might be some nuggets I ain't ready to hear, but you are still gonna feed it to me in the most loving way. You do. And like you said, it was love at first sight. We clicked and we've been rocking for 10 years. And I mean, I love you to pieces. Now, Risa, your story was a little bit different, but what made you decide I went through what you'll probably never meet someone in life that has gone through what you've been through. And you were literally awakened from a body they thought was dead.
Wow.
What made you decide, I'm going to share this story? Because not everybody is in a place where they go through something and then they're ready to give it to the world, or they're ready to talk about it. So what was awakened in you during that part of your life where you said, I have to share this. I need people to know about this?
I think it was during my recovery. I was, because when I was recovering, I at first I didn't have a voice. I was trached. I have a scar on my neck, and I was going through multiple surgeries on my throat, so I didn't have a voice. So I became a very good listener, and I was listening to people, and they would complain about certain things in their life. And I remember thinking, that's not that bad. That you're complaining about traffic. You're complaining about your bills. That's not that bad. And I started thinking about it, like, you have to have a vision for yourself beyond your circumstances. I think a lot of times we shrink to the level of our circumstances. And
Wow.
I think that hinders our ability to grow and to become who we can become, because we're too busy focused on external problems. What we really need to focus on is internally. What we really need to focus on is what we can create, not what the world is creating around us. What can we create? And that's how I remember going through my recovery. I didn't care what everybody else was saying about my recovery and what the odds were and what's probable. I didn't care about that. I wanted to know what I could create. And as a result of that, I started realizing that I was attracting what I was looking for. And as a result of that, I got excited about it. And I wanted to share with the world and let them know, you can do it too. You can do it. It's not just for me. It's for everyone. So I want people to flip the switch on, like, I'll believe it when I see it, to you will see it when you believe it.
Absolutely.
I think that's been my message as I've been going along. And that's why I talk about pinky moves, because it is a micro move in the direction of your goals, ultimately leading to massive success.
Right.
Everybody thinks that they have to climb these big mountains, but all you got to do is just take little baby steps, and you'll get there.
You'll get there. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to remember to celebrate each step and not wait until you get to the goal or the end game to then celebrate. Celebrate each step you take towards that goal, because each step is so important. That's how you get there. Now, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I feel like each person might take a couple of minutes. So I want to make sure we allow this time and space to answer the questions as we start to wind down on tonight's episode. And starting with Regina, you guys can think about your answers while she speaks. But what was your biggest takeaway, or what was the biggest thing you learned at the brunch?
I'll tell you what it was for me personally. It was, for a number of years, I have heard God say, if I give you that thought, I want you to act upon that thought, right? But me, I'm a process oriented person. So, I'll say, okay, God, but what about this? What about that? But, and miss the moment. And I will tell you that I was 100% present the whole entire time that I was there at the brunch, and I did not miss any moment, right? I acted on what I heard the Most High saying for me to do. And it was out of character for me, but it was also very comfortable. And so it validated for me that I am actually coming into fully walking into my purpose. And I don't want to miss this opportunity either, because I think Bianca said something about Tasha, you pulling us back into our purpose, right? And so for me, when you asked me to serve in the capacity that I did, um, uh, I don't know. I think I may have shared with a couple of folks that are here, but I was somewhat apprehensive in saying yes, but Spirit told me to say yes, right? And I was apprehensive because on May the 1st, I had a minor stroke,
Right.
right? And so I am coming to grips with the effects of that, but it's not, none of it is negative. And so I want people to understand and hear me clearly. None of it is negative. From the time that I went into emergency without the use of my arm and my hand and without being able to speak, to 2 days later, I was at home in my own self bed. It was nothing but me basking in the glory of the graciousness and mercifulness and the love of a God who said, it's not your time yet. I got things for you to do, right? And so therefore I have been celebrating. And so even though I thought about, I don't know, because there are moments when my speech is not as articulate as what I remember it being, right? And so that was something that presented a barrier for me in saying yes to you, but it was quickly overcome because of the greatness and the glory and the graciousness of a loving God that said a lot of things that could have turned out a lot of different ways, but you are here and you are here for a purpose and you need to use that. So however it is that he wants to use me, I'm willing and always have been, but I will say that my courage level to be completely present in the moment and move forward as I hear him directing me, I've taken that on fully and it really feels good. I got to tell you that.
Hey, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. I love that. All right. So Kenneth and Bianca, to you guys, if you could, do it in about 1 minute or so, what was your biggest takeaway from the brunch? What did you leave with feeling and learning?
Elevation from all walks of life. It was elevation and inspiration in every corner of that room, from the vendors to the centerpieces, from my daughter being one of the youngest people in the room to being able to sit at the table with my grandmother, who's going to turn 85 in a month, and be on your stage with my best friend and husband, to be a blessing and to get blessed from the food on to the closing remark, from the opening remark by Mr. Dita to the closing remark by you. If you sat there, and as my husband says, if you were at home, you received your mail. And I'm gonna tell y'all, the delivery was full, and I got it. There was, I don't know. I'm right now. I've been wanting to shout the whole time y'all been talking.
And I will say really quick, one of the easiest things to do is to feed somebody when they're hungry. And so, as you ladies were saying earlier, we were in a room full of people that were hungry. So it was easy. It wasn't, but I felt comfortable. I didn't know everyone in there personally, but I felt like I knew everybody in there personally, the food was off the hook. It was really amazing. And so just everything. So spiritually and naturally, I was fed. And my community grew. I networked and met some more beautiful people, some more enlightened people. So to me, that's always a win. That's heaven on earth.
Beautiful, beautiful. I definitely was really big on being purposeful and intentional about the networking because I always say it, but then I get to my events and I don't actually do it. And I sat down and talked to Regina and told her what I wanted to do. And she was like, that's absolutely perfect. So I was very intentional. I'm so glad that I keep hearing people make connections. All right, Mika, on to you in about a minute or so. What did you leave with? What was like your biggest takeaway of the brunch?
My biggest takeaway, and Brisa kind of touched on it earlier, love. It's like you are what you attract. This whole environment was about love. It was love filled, love entered the room, love left the room. It kept coming in and going out and coming in and going out. And it was just a beautiful experience all the way around. Period. I think everybody put their heart and soul into it. Thank you, Tasha, for the vision of it. From the vendors, like everybody said, the vendors. I have the most amazing lip gloss from a Black vendor that was there. All of the vendors, you know, all of the gifts that were added, all of the gifts that were given. It was just a love-filled, beautiful event. So many times you hear about these events and somebody has something negative to say. Not one person has said anything negative, not about the food, not about the service, not about the love that was displayed and given. Everybody attracted just love in this space. So, I mean, if you haven't been to one and you're thinking about, just don't think, just when those tickets go on sale, purchase them.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Brisa, on to you in about a minute or so or less. Tell us what was your biggest takeaway. And then after that, tell people how they can reach you.
Okay, so I think for me, because I've been going through a little bit of a change in my life, I really needed this event when I was there. And I think not only did the audience receive a new restored belief in themselves, so did I. I gave myself the opportunity to see what was possible.
Wow.
From listening to myself, listening to all of you, listening to the audience, and absorbing what they were all saying. I would listen to their loving words that was going to Regina, to Kenneth, Bianca, Lyric especially, Lisa and Tasha. I mean, all of you guys, I was listening to what they were saying to you, and they were filling your cup. And so were they with me. And I didn't know anyone, and it didn't even matter. It was like I was entered in, just come on into my family, like just come in, we'll feed you. That's how I felt. And you honestly, Tasha, helped restore belief in myself all over again. Sometimes we need that. And also, I have been receiving so many messages. I made a little video of the day and the night, how it played out. And the background was Kenneth singing. And some of my friends were like, I was looking for that. Who is that singer? I'm like, that was Kenneth, one of our speakers. So it was amazing. And thank you. I appreciate that. All of my friends and followers are loving on you, Kenneth. So I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Brisa, tell people how they can find you.
Yeah, so you can either go to pinkymoves.com or you can go to brisalfaro.com, and you can follow all of my connections there. And then my book is Limitless. You can find it there too.
Beautiful, beautiful. Kenneth and Bianca, first, before I even ask you guys to tell how people can find you in these last few minutes, Lyric, I have to say, you are officially the youngest person to speak at any of my events. You are truly a Shenomenal girl, and you have raised the standard of what our brunches should be, because to open with a young Shenomenal girl who's going to grow to become a Shenomenal woman, it was beautiful to hear you speak. And your speech kicked off our brunch by having us know that we need to just believe. So I know you are my baby. I love you to pieces. You keep shining like the little Shenomenal star you are. Okay.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. So Kenneth and Bianca, we got shoot over how we can reach you guys, how people can reach you guys.
Well, you can follow Lyric on IG at Lyric M Page. That's her IG. She puts her and her brother, we put stuff up for them. So you can follow her. For Bianca and I is The Core of You, CORE of the letter U. We have a Facebook page, we have IG, we have a website and YouTube. So The Core of You.
And really quick, tell people who won the couples coaching, free couples coaching.
You know what? We're going to give it to two people, Katrina Comrie and Jerlene Dixon. So we'll be in touch with both of them.
Congratulations to them. Miss Regina, really quick, how can people find you?
Really quick, dvlproject.com.
She said really quick. And yes, that is definitely a website you guys need to look up and get familiar with. She's so incredible with what she does in the high desert and just for people in general. If you ask her a question, she has the answer. All right, Mika, how can people reach you?
Mika Morris on IG. That's where I'm at most days. Every now and then on Facebook at Mika Bracey and TamikaMorris.com. You need to reach me that way.
She's being modest. She has an incredible, funny podcast on Thursdays.
Oh my God.
The Tamika Show. They are like the Instagram aunties. They're the Instagram aunties. You guys have to watch.
How dare I forget us?
Exactly. You guys.
And we have a podcast. We're on all podcast formats. The April and Tamika Show.
Yes, log in, watch it, get your feel of the Instagram aunties. That's what I like to call them. All right, this has been super incredible. I love and appreciate each of you to the magnitude of which I cannot explain, but having you guys at my brunch is a testament of God's love for my obedience and following the path that he lays for me. And when he sends me people like you guys, it clearly lets me know that I am on the right path, and he continues to develop and groom me for what he has. And I appreciate you guys being my Shenomenal stars, not co-stars, because you guys stand alongside of me, not in front, not in back. You guys stand alongside of me. And Kenneth being a Henomenal man, I appreciate and love each of you. Men, if you are listening, you have to be in the building. Ken said he is committed to getting more men in that room. We celebrate women, but trust me, what we say, what we do, what we give is universal. So to all of you, I will see you, not technically all y'all, but at the 3rd annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch. We are going to elevate it, pick it up. We're going to bring it. Thank you guys so much for joining. I will be back next week speaking with Brandy Joseph. She is you just have to watch because she's the first Black woman to have a firearms dealing business where she teaches women how to properly use gun safety as well as protection of ourselves with or without guns. So you guys definitely want to be back next week to join us. I will see you guys next week. You guys are all Shenomenal and Henomenal people. I love you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Y'all don't hang up though.